another commuter for free boat, and it's filled to capacity. And it goes side to side, and it is becoming rush hour. Look at the color. Look at the color of these tulips. Many, many varieties in there.
Good old worker and a good old pal. 15 miles on the Erie Canal. On some barges in our day, filled with lumber, coal and hay. We know every inch the way we go, from Albany to Buffalo. Low risk, everybody down. Low risk, for we come into a town, and you always know your neighbor, you always know your pal, if you ever navigated on the Erie Canal. On the furnace, it's Plymouth! Better get along on a way, old gal. 15 miles on the Erie Canal. You bet your life I never part with Sal. 15 miles on the Erie Canal. Get up, damn you, here comes the luck. We'll make Rome about 6 o'clock. One more trip and back we'll go, right back home to Buffalo. Low rich, everybody down. Low rich, for we come into a town, and you always know your neighbor.
So it is there to connect, but at the same time, if you are here, you might be wondering, okay, but where is the center of Amsterdam? We are going to enter soon, when Jordi takes a turn to the right. A bit about me. I have been living in Amsterdam for half of my life. I'm originally from Caracas, where I graduated from an architecture school. I don't practice architecture today, yet I think as an architect, so there is going to be a lot in my tour related to urbanism, architecture, and facts regarding the built environment and the culture behind it. Yeah, I will tell you more about myself maybe along the day. I will be today with you until the end of our visit to the Kokenhof, which is the tulip park. Yeah. otherwise you couldn't work and pay for the daycare at the same time. So there are some services, and such as daycare, an insurance that you need to pay on your own, and then you get some money back. Same happens for rent. Some people might get money back for their rent. If the rent is too high and they are not earning enough, you might also get some money back from the government. Then with the taxes, there are some things that are not, so this is the Rijksmuseum. Sorry, to the left. Rijksmuseum is the National Museum. Again, as I mentioned, this is one of the stakeholders of the Green Mile. The Rijksmuseum, it has an amazing collection of the 17th century Dutch art. It was designed and built by Pierre Cuypers, and this is the same architect that designed and built the train station.
So we're deep in the middle of Holland right now. Can you imagine having something like this in your front lawn and in your back lawn? You can't make this up. There's thousands and thousands of tulips and many varieties of bulbs I haven't even seen yet. Look at this. I mean, come on. Let's get going and see what's really out there. Let's go. So look at this. You could create something like this in your garden. Guess what this is? It's a wisteria vine. And you know what they're using for it down here? They're using, good old-fashioned seashells. Look at this. All natural. Unbelievable. This will be filled with beautiful flowers. And the fragrance is going to be unbelievable. Could you imagine walking out and going, wow, look at this? Well, let's go see some more amazing color. You're going to love this. And look at that. It's a beautiful arbor. You can't make that up. So amazing. If you could smell through the TV right now, the smell from the hyacinths over here are just unbelievable. And we're going to go a little bit closer because they're actually in full bloom right now. And if you see, look at these. I mean, those are breathtaking. What a beautiful mixture of tulips and hyacinths. Purple, white, and then the yellow ones. What a creative garden. And like Ruby said, everybody participates and plants these every single year, just about the same time. It all depends on the weather. But yeah, like I said originally, look at the Quanzon cherry, known for its bark, is just starting to bloom. And those you can grow up north. Look at all different textures, but also planted so you got bloom in the middle, and then these are ready to go in the next couple of weeks, and then these are just starting, so you never lose color throughout the whole 7-week season. And they did the same thing with this garden right here. And the bees, the pollinating bees, are loving it. So this is a real working windmill. This windmill is what used to pump the water into the fields, or just to keep the water from the bottom part of the floor. But this was the way that they used to actually bring water, and they used to do mechanical things as far as grains and stuff, crush things. It did all kinds of work. Now they have modern ways of pumping water to keep things moving, the water flow, and keeping it so it doesn't actually flood the areas. But look at this. This is truly an authentic one. It was 1892. Then they refurbished it in 1957, and then they redid it again in 1992. And if you see the little pieces of materials, actually the large pieces of materials on one side, you take those off, down, you pull them across, that'll stop the windmill from moving. And then you can see the braking system in the background there, that if the wind is going, if you want to turn it, you can put the brake on it and then rotate the whole top of the windmill from inside, and that'll turn it on the other side direction, and then you'll get wind from the direction that you want.
Because she was out with her, my great-grandmother for some groceries when one came down just a few streets away from where she lived after Market Garden, after they evacuated. So you could never truly escape war in these parts. The street we are on now was one of the 3 original approach routes that the British had thought up to enter Arnhem. Now this one here, the most northern one, they never made it here. The Germans formed a so-called spur line, blocking line, between Arnhem and the landing zones on the first day. And this entire area here, which was supposed to be captured by the British, never fell into their hands. And as we are driving towards Oosterbeek, just keep a little bit of an eye on the road, how far we are from the bridge. Again, that element of surprise. Airborne forces work best when they are dropped onto their objective. And no such thing was happening here in and around Arnhem. They were 8 to 10 miles away from their objective. Something that greatly hindered the operation as a whole.
That's good.
She had travelled to Nuremberg with members of the British Union of Fascists, and she had written an article about her trip to Germany for her in-house journal. In Nuremberg, Van Heemstra had visited the Reichsparteitag, the convention of the German National Socialist Party. She was very impressed by the military spectacle. In her opinion, the boundless enthusiasm of the Germans when they greeted their beloved leader Hitler was one of the most inspiring sights on earth, and she spoke positively about how fit and happy the German people were. Van Heemstra met Adolf Hitler personally and was very complimentary about him. She described him as...
What you're saying is this is what the city looked like
Yeah,
before.
this is the before war picture, an aerial picture taken somewhere in the 30s. And right here is in 1945, the aftermath of World War II.
Wow. Flattened like a pancake.
Completely destroyed. Of the, I think I mentioned it earlier, there were approximately 25,000 buildings in Arnhem before World War II. And of those buildings, only 146 did not get damaged during the fighting and the war.
So if you have not seen the nameplate yet, what do you think this kind of object is?
An instrument?
Instrument?
Yes.
Which instrument?
Violin.
Violin.
It's a
Yes.
violin.
It's a violin, and you can kind of glue those pieces back together in your head,
And you can make
and
a
it
violin.
makes a violin. So he's really, this is the type of abstract he's looking for, that you can still recognize it, but it's not in the shape that you would normally expect it. And that's what he was actively looking for, because the photography was invented. And they could just make a photo of a person. They wouldn't need a portrait anymore, they wouldn't need a still life, you could just take pictures. And artists had to find a new purpose. And that's when he started. She learned culture over there, and she was really inspired by it. So she really went all out. She brought it back to Europe, and she started dancing in Moulin Rouge. And she also learned to dance in other countries. She traveled all around Europe. And eventually she got stuck in Germany, where she followed a spy course. She was really good at it too, so she successfully was a spy. And then the first World War came around, and that's when she actively became a spy. So Germany paid her to spy on France, and when France also paid her to spy on Germany. Not a smart move. And double agent indeed. And we only know that she did it for sure on paper. If know that she accepted the money from both sides, but the money she accepted from France could also have been seen as kind of like she wasn't allowed to dance anymore in the war, so she could see it as a compensation fee. But in reality, she had to actively spy for it. And if she did that, it's unsure. And eventually she got arrested by France. And I have the police photo right here. Look really closely at the police photo. There's just 1 year between the portrait and the photo. It's a really short amount of time.
She aged.
And that. Wait, there was also these are really yellow and blue. And you can of course see it's being inspired by the blossom tree, but it's not a cherry blossom. And the red blossom. Those are more common in the French cherry colors. And he was most happy about this one because when blossoms, it doesn't take a long time for the blossom to fade away already. So it fades really quickly. He was most happy with this one because it's signed with his name, Vincent. So he only signed his name when he was truly happy with the painting and when it was ready to be sold. You can look around the paintings of Van Gogh, almost none of them are signed. And it's also signed Souvenir de Mort.
Drive over later. It was there and that stayed there because the stream, if the curve is too sharp, it goes to the other side, and at the southern part at the island the same structures are there. There's an whole island disappeared into the water. But you should imagine that all what you see at the right side, all the water, and you see already the Plopper Tower at the horizon at 2 o'clock. There we will go by. And this was all land, a very fertile land, and it all disappeared underwater between 1400 and 1581. And the Plopper Tower is an old church tower built in 1468, and the village was left by the people at the end of the 16th century. In 1581 they made this dike, and there was already a dike on it, but they didn't trust it, so the dike was made through the cable, makes the curve to there. You should imagine that Zierikzee, the middle of Zierikzee, is on an old street laying higher, and the surroundings are lower. And the water was on the quay, pushing the floodplains, and it broke down, and the water restrained, rushed really into the city, and it came as almost 4 meters high, so it will be 12 feet. 12 feet. Actually, that was in this street where this house is.
Wow. Burns busted down.
is amazing. Yes.
From the middle.
Going down the river.
Yeah.
Going down the river here. Wait till you see what we're going to see down here. It's so beautiful, the weather right now. And just the air is so brisk, but it's just slightly windy. And this is going to be cool. Let's relax and enjoy the moments.
So, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome on board.
We're up in the windmill up here, and here's the actual... So we're up in the windmill here. Here's the actual looking out the window right here. Look at the views from the top. You can see your neighbors. And if it's time to go to bed, this is where you're going to be sleeping. In this beautiful bed. But I think on this bed, I'm gonna need some more pillows.